It was the late 1970s. Deep in the icy wilderness of Siberia, a team of Russian scientists and workers were drilling into the Earth's crust, chasing something no one had ever dared before. Day after day, night after freezing night, the drilling continued deeper and deeper. Then one night, something strange happened. As the drill reached a depth no human had ever touched, the workers heard it. Sounds. Not the rumble of machinery, not the shifting of rocks, but voices, screaming, crying, echoing up from the darkness beneath them. Terrified, many of the workers dropped their tools and ran at the very first sound. Some swore they would never return. But what was it they heard? And what lay beneath that cursed hole? Tonight, we travel to the Kola Peninsula, to the exact place where the earth opened, and something screamed back. The real story begins in 1970. In that year, a team of Russian scientists and workers started a very big project. They wanted to drill the deepest hole in the world. Their plan was to reach deep into the Earth's crust, deeper than anyone had ever gone before. But it wasn't just for fun or curiosity. There was a big reason behind it. At that time, the world was caught in the Cold War, a time when the Soviet Union and the United States were competing in everything: technology, space, science, and even drilling. A few years earlier, American scientists had tried to drill into the Earth with a project called Project Mohole. But their project failed. The drilling stopped after a few miles and they ran out of money. When the Russians heard about this, they wanted to show the world that they could do better. They wanted to prove that they were stronger, smarter, and more powerful than America. So, they chose a very cold and faraway place called the Kola Peninsula, a lonely piece of land near the borders of Norway and Finland. It was the perfect spot for their mission because it was quiet, isolated, and had the right kind of rocks for deep drilling. Building the Kola Superdeep Borehole was not easy. First, they needed strong equipment that could survive the harsh weather. It was not like drilling in a warm or soft place. The ground here was frozen almost all year. Temperatures dropped far below zero. Storms would blow across the land without warning. The workers set up huge towers made of steel, stronger than anything used in normal drilling. They installed giant drills with special diamond tips, made to cut through the hardest rocks. To control the drilling, they built a special station filled with machines and computers. Back then, technology was not like today. It was slow and heavy. Everything had to be done carefully by hand. The drilling didn't go straight down all the time. After reaching a certain depth, they had to drill sideways at angles because the deeper they went, the harder the rocks became. The heat underground also became a huge problem. As they drilled deeper, the temperature rose higher and higher, hotter than they ever expected. It was like reaching into the Earth's oven. At some depths, the heat reached over 180 degrees Celsius, around 356 degrees Fahrenheit, making the metal parts of the machines almost melt. Still, they didn't stop. It was an early morning, around 4 a.m. The air was freezing cold, and a thin layer of ice covered everything outside. Inside the control room, only a few workers were awake, checking the machines like they did every night. But suddenly, something strange happened. One of the machines, the one controlling the main drill, broke down without any warning. Lights blinked, alarms buzzed, and the drill stopped moving. At first, the workers thought it was just another technical problem. After all, at such deep levels, machines broke often because of the extreme heat and pressure. But when they checked the readings from the hole, they found something they couldn't explain. The temperature deep down had jumped much higher than normal. It was way hotter than what the scientists had predicted. Some reports said it was more than 1,000 degrees Celsius, far too hot for the depth they had reached. After the terrifying moment passed, and the workers calmed down, the team leaders had an important decision to make. They couldn't just leave the project. It was too big, too important. So, the engineers and scientists came back slowly, one by one, and started checking the broken machines. They found that the heat had caused serious damage inside the drill. Many parts had melted or cracked under the extreme temperature. To fix it, they had to replace several sections of the drilling pipe. They also installed new cooling systems, heavy fans, and cooling liquids to stop the machines from overheating again. It took weeks of hard, careful work. Every repair was dangerous. At that depth, even the smallest mistake could cause the drill to get stuck forever. But the team was determined. Slowly, they repaired the damaged parts, upgraded the cables, and checked the sensors. They also stopped lowering microphones into the hole after that day. Many workers whispered among themselves that it was better not to listen to what came from the deep. By the end of the repairs, the drilling machines were ready again. But something had changed. Even though the machines worked, a feeling of fear stayed around the drilling site, as if the earth below was warning them not to dig any deeper. Even though strange things happened, the scientists made some incredible discoveries while digging so deep. They found rock formations that were more than 7 billion years old, rocks that had been hidden from the surface since before any living thing had ever walked the earth. They also discovered tiny fossils of ancient life trapped in the rocks, buried miles underground. These were microscopic fossils of single-celled organisms, a shocking discovery, because nobody expected to find any signs of life at such great depths and pressures. The scientists also learned that the Earth's crust was different from what they had thought. Before the drilling, many believed that the rocks would change into a different type of rock called basalt at a certain depth, but the Kola Superdeep Borehole showed that the crust was made of much more complex layers, and there was no sudden change to basalt where they expected it. Another surprise was the presence of water, deep underground, trapped inside the rocks. Scientists had believed water couldn't exist that far down because of the heat and pressure. But somehow, water had been trapped there for millions, maybe billions of years. These discoveries changed what scientists knew about the Earth's structure. Even though the project ended, the knowledge they gained helped future scientists understand earthquakes, the way continents move, and even the possibilities of life deep inside other planets. One day, as usual, the scientists were back at the site, continuing their work on the project. The drilling machines had been repaired, and everything seemed calm. But this day was different. They decided to send the microphone deep into the hole again, hoping to record some more data from underground. The team had learned not to expect anything strange, but what happened next would change everything. As the microphone reached its usual depth, something unexpected happened. This time, the voices were louder, clearer. They were no longer just faint whispers. The workers heard screams. Real screams. The sound of people in pain trapped deep below. The screams echoed, bouncing off the walls of the Earth's crust. Some scientists froze in fear. They couldn't explain it. Others said it was just natural noises, the Earth shifting, the rocks settling. But deep down, they knew something didn't feel right. But what could it mean? Could there really be something alive so deep underground? Or was this just a bizarre trick of nature? The more they listened, the more questions came. Yet, none of the scientists dared to go deeper. They had already pushed the limits of what was possible. And maybe they had pushed too far. The Kola Superdeep Borehole remains one of the greatest mysteries of modern science. Despite all the discoveries, some questions will never be answered. What caused those chilling screams? And what other secrets does the Earth still hide beneath our feet? If you want to learn more about the unknown, the mysteries of our world, and the strange discoveries that science has yet to explain, don't forget to hit subscribe. Stay curious, and join us on this journey into the depths of the Earth, where the answers are buried, waiting to be uncovered.